Before I decided to quit social media for 30 days, I want to share the process. I want to share the cause. What actually caused it? What made me decide this was the right time for me to actually do this? It was not quite an easy decision for me to make, but it was a necessary one because I knew that the good that was coming out of it was more than what I was thinking that I could lose from not being on social media. For a very long time, for years maybe, I have had very little number of social media applications on my phone. This is because for a very long time I've always known that social media can be addicting and also can be really difficult to let go of once you're addicted. So I just wanted to stay away from, you know, being addicted. So I've always had, this close circle of social media applications that I use, which are Facebook, WhatsApp, um, Twitter, which is just recently, I just decided to, because I have not been quite a huge user of Twitter. So I decided to just, give it a try about a month ago. But really, that is out of the conversation because it hasn't been there before I decided to, quit social media. So the social media applications that I've really been using were Facebook, WhatsApp, which is just a messaging platform, Telegram, which I barely open, um, Instagram also, which I, barely also use. I'm not really a huge fan of Instagram. A lot of people say it can be addicting, but I really do not use it. And then the last one would be, or the last two would be YouTube and TikTok. Yeah, those are my other constant applications. So my most frequent social media pages that I use are Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Other than these, I really do not use any other social media platform. And then WhatsApp, which is just a messaging platform. I use it to communicate with friends, with family, and also for some official businesses with my work colleagues. Having mentioned the social media pages that I use, which ones do I exactly spend most time on? Well, it's usually TikTok, Facebook, and WhatsApp actually. So for a very long time, I've not had the Facebook application, but I've constantly or intermittently had TikTok and WhatsApp. TikTok is actually because you cannot access it without the application, and Facebook, I've usually used it on the web. And for WhatsApp, I've always had the application. Now, WhatsApp is an application that I have this, believe that if I lose access to WhatsApp, then I might not have access to my friends, the world, and everything. So I'm usually scared of what I could be losing out on potentially giving up my access to the application. So for long, I have not wanted to actually create WhatsApp because yeah, because of the reason I just gave. So when this decision to actually quit social media came, WhatsApp was the one that lingered on my mind the most. So how did I go about it? For the first few days, when I was already decided and I was sure that I was going to, do this, I was going to go without social media for 30 days. I told myself, okay, we're going to quit this for 30 minutes, just 30 minutes. Was it 30 minutes or an hour? One of the two. So I said, I'm going to quit it for 30 minutes, which I did. And I quitted it for 30 minutes without using, without checking up on it. And this was because I wanted to be sure that I didn't have any unresponded messages. Two, I didn't have any messages or obligations that I was supposed to perform. Probably I was supposed to send someone something based on a promise or communicate with someone just to tell them that I was probably not going to be available for official reasons. So I just wanted to make sure that I hadn't forgotten about anything. Then I maximized it to 1 hour to go without social media, and then I extended it to 5 days. So after the 5 days, I checked I checked all of my social media applications to check that Do I have anything unanswered or anything I was supposed to do? And I saw that there was nothing really important, and every other thing that I was supposed to do, I had already remembered within the 1 hour, 30 minutes, and then 5 days ultimatum that I had given myself. So I closed it and then I shut it down for 30 days. How was I able to do this? There's an application called Stay Focused in which I used to give access over all of my applications. So it basically helps you with controlling your phone usage, your social media usage by being a how do I put it? It basically acts upon your whole device. So I don't what's the word? Um okay, so I'll put it as it takes over your whole mobile device in a positive way. So it will so once you have set definite amount of time to go without your phone or your social media, then you set that with certain restrictions that you would love, which I did. I set restrictions to all of my applications, all of my phone, all of my mobile device, and I only left out applications in which I'd be needing constantly, such as my Gmail account, such as my Outlook, just camera, calendar, just important applications basically. Your important application can be different from mine, but that those were the ones that I whitelisted that I left out. So I used Stay Focused to just ensure all of this. So after doing that, I set up the timer, which was irrevocable. Once I did that, I questioned myself, why did I do this? But deep down, I knew that the benefit of this was going to be more than the what I think that I'll be missing out. So in the long run, I actually missed chatting with people and my friends and my family and everyone on my social media accounts. Some of them reached out to me on other social media platforms like LinkedIn, because that was where I was active. I am trying to build an online presence on, especially on LinkedIn, because as a university student, I am just trying to build something for myself in the long run. So I basically share my ideas, share my work, and build a professional portfolio on LinkedIn. So that was where some of my friends reached out to me to send me a text, and then I told them, oh, hey, this is what I'm doing. And because LinkedIn is LinkedIn and not all of them were really conversant with it, there was no way the conversations could linger that could actually make me use LinkedIn as a messaging platform excessively. So the plan was working. Everything was working very fine. Now, before all of this, my number of hours that I spent on my phone was really much. There, I would spend like really a lot of hours. I actually screen recorded all of my, number of active hours on social media before I went up, and they were just up here. So on average, I guess I would be spending up to 4 or 5 hours on average. But ever since I actually started this, going without social media for 30 days, it has actually been really, really, really less. Now, on average, now if I check on this application, which is Stay Focused, on average, my daily phone usage, I think it's just around 1 hour, 1.5 hours. And I could share with you exactly the number of hours that I've spent on my application, on my phone rather. I actually started this challenge of going without my phone on, I think, the 1st of April. Yeah, I think I started on the 1st of April, and then it ended on the 30th of April, so which is like precise. I want to explain this just to share the gravity of actually going without social media. So during this period of going without social media was my birthday, And as a girl, you would expect that a lot of people would actually wish you happy birthday and everything. But I didn't think about this before I even set the timer. So immediately I set the timer, I just remembered, oh my gosh, my birthday will be coming up. What if people wished me? What if people actually sent me birthday texts or sent me stuffs or gifts or anything? Would I be able to see it? Would I be able to respond? But I told myself, even myself on that day would be very proud of me that I was actually able to let go to do without my phone. And eventually on my birthday I was able to go with my family. I went outside. I had fun with them rather than actually being on my phone and just having to be taking in love through a virtual means. So instead of taking in love through virtual means by people's messages, text messages, and whatnot, I spent time with my family, which I really appreciate, and I'm glad that I could do that. Moving on, I just want to share the number of hours in which I've been able to spend on my phone ever since I quitted social media. So really, this was very strict. I made sure to block even the websites. I made sure to block even the websites to the applications like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, anything. I made sure to block everything. I made sure to block even accessing the settings to change the decision in case I change my mind in the long run, because I didn't want to, because I knew that the benefit was more than whatever I was going to be suffering at the moment. So starting from the first day, my phone usage was 49 minutes, and then 1 hour 13 minutes, and then 25 minutes, and then 1 hour 25 minutes, and then 3 hours 45 minutes, and then 2 hours 57 minutes, 1 hour 15 minutes, 2 hours and 2 minutes, 43 minutes, 1 hour 27 minutes, 2 hours and 44 minutes, 1 hour and 31 minutes, 5 hours and 43 minutes. I wonder what I did on that day. 5 hours. I was probably doing something official or something. Let me say. I really want to say. I don't know what I did on that particular day, but yeah. And then 7 hours. Interesting. I don't know what I did on that day, but it's really interesting looking back and seeing, this. So you can see those 2 days have actually been abnormal. And then moving on to the next day after those is 1 hour 49 minutes, then 53 minutes, then 1 hour 44 minutes, then 21 minutes, and then no usage at all on the 19th day. And then we have 29 minutes, and then 34 minutes, and then 1 hour no usage, 11 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour 35 minutes, 1 hour 34 minutes, 32 minutes, and 3 hours 58 minutes, and then 1 hour. And that was the last day. That was the last day of my phone, or and that was the last day of 30 days without using social media. So on average, I'll say that on average is like daily an hour or an hour and a half, which is not bad. Compared to actually spending 3 hours in a day or 4 hours or 5 hours in a day, which I think is excessive in my opinion. So it really helped me a lot. It really helped me to concentrate. It helped me even in my studies to actually meet up with assignment deadlines and to just focus on what actually matters. It also helped me to create time to engage more on LinkedIn and building places that I truly wanted to build, not just be on social media that was not useful for me. Being on social media and consuming videos and content of other people, it made me realize that I was consuming more than I was creating, and I knew that I had this in me to actually create more. I know I was intelligent enough to create more, to actually share more to other people than consuming their content. So this decision is not something that I regret, and I will do it over and over and over again. I know you'll be asking me that what has actually been the result ever since I have been off of these restrictions. Well, I've been off of these restrictions for almost a week now, and looking back, I don't think that I regret my decisions. The first thing that I did when I actually went back was, naturally I went back to check on WhatsApp, my messages, I checked another social media handles to see if anything was actually, did I miss out on anything. My friends did feed me with, gist and informations that I might have missed and that might be important to me. But saying that I really missed out on something really cogent or that was really important is not true, because the the messages actually waiting for me when I went back on to my social media accounts were birthday messages and just random stuff. They were not really important. So it made me realize you just sitting there and chatting with your friends without being productive, or just trying to get the next update about someone else's life is not useful. It's not useful for you in the long run. And if you are not there, life is eventually going to move on. I also got messages from people asking about my well being, and that only occurred for a maximum of 3 times per person. It's a huge lesson that if I was not there answering their messages, or if the result or if the cause of those lack of response from me was something as grievous as death, then life is eventually going to move on even without me. So why should I feel guilty about being off of social media for a while when I know that it is going to benefit me? This experience has taught me a lot, and I'm going to do it over and over and over again without actually looking back. WhatsApp was one of the biggest platform that I thought, oh my gosh, I can't lose, because I've got official connections and everything. But without that, I was still able to work, I was still able to study, I was still able to get minimal connections to people, even without it being there. I did everything I was supposed to do. I was being scared that, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss out on a lot of things, but I didn't miss anything. My email was there for important people to connect with me. My LinkedIn was there for me to speak and make connections. My email accounts were there for me to receive, if I was responses to my job applications or anything. But to say that social media was really, really important is not true. It is not true. If this is your sign that if you ever want to get off of social media and you're waiting for the right time, right step to take, right moment, it is never going to come, because you are always going to have something. You're always going to have, the last message to reply to. You're always going to be waiting on a response from someone, which is not, it is just a spiral. And it is a never ending spiral. And the earlier you realize that getting off of social media is going to do you more good than harm, then the better. Because your future self, even your present self, is going to really appreciate you. Some of the benefits of me leaving social media was I became calmer. I had time to even relate with my family more. I had time to actually study. I had time to think about things that were really important. I did not feel the guilt of leaving someone unread just because I did not feel like continuing with the conversation. Sometimes I really do not want to reply to people because I know that this conversation is going to lead into another conversation, but they are not really going to understand because they do not have the same vision as me. So, and explaining to them is going to be, to me, what I feel is that if I have to explain to them that, oh, this is how I feel, I don't want to continue with this conversation, because I actually do not want to linger on having to, continue this conversation over and over, because sometimes it's even gossip. So I just usually choose not to respond to such conversations. And it usually makes me feel guilty and feel disrespectful. But being off of my social media and not having access to it whatsoever, it did not make me feel guilty. I had time for myself. I had time to think about other things. I didn't have time to think, oh, I have not responded to Adam, or I have not responded to Miriam because of this, because I did not want to continue the conversation. No, it was not there. But speaking truly and truly, coming back here now, I'm already feeling the guilt of actually not wanting to respond to people because I have access to it. I know that I have access to it, and it makes me feel somehow, it makes me feel guilty. And I'm even already thinking about actually going 30 days again without it because I do not see the point. I don't see the point just taking up my time, honestly. But ever since getting back now, I've already learned these lessons, and I've already realized that I don't need social media in my life. And without social media, my head is clear. I'm able to think. I don't feel guilty about not responding to anyone. I feel even calmer. My attention span is better. I'm able to study more. I have time for myself. I am able to even be more ambitious than I ever was. So, on a final note, if you are looking for a reason to quit social media, to get off of your phone, to get back your attention, because look, one thing about social media is it has been engineered in such a way that it is going to always be addicting to you. You would always want to constantly go back to it. Okay, you would always want to constantly go back to it. So why not just quit it? Because you don't even have power over what you actually feel, because you don't have power over whether it is going to be addicting to you or not. So why not just get off of it? So if you're looking for a sign to actually get off of social media, I am telling you, get off of social media. This is your sign, because you're eventually going to get even more benefits from it. And you can start by using an app such as Stay Focused. This is not an ad, by the way. This is just my genuine review of what I feel like is actually going to be good for you, because I've used it and it worked for me. I'm using a paid version, so you might choose to use a free version or a paid version, but it works for me, and I'm grateful that I found such an application. And I'm sure that if you use it and you're struggling with actually getting off of social media, retaining your time and retaining your attention span, then going off of social media and using an application like that is actually going to help. I also want to leave you with this question today: that if social media left the world tomorrow, or if social media disappeared tomorrow, what are you going to become? What will you be without social media? What would you be? How would you be? How would you behave? Would you be part of those people who would never be able to move on? Or would you be part of the people who have set a legacy without social media? Do you have a legacy without social media? Are you able to go a day without social media? Are you able to go a day without your phone? Think about this. Do you really need social media? Does it help you in any way? Sit down, question yourself, and ask, do I really need social media? And be honest with yourself, actually. You don't deceive yourself. Be really honest with yourself. If you can answer these honestly, then I think you can go from there.